So now I'm going to be introducing XML document contains what? XML document contains elements, attributes, entity references. So in a XML document we are using elements, attributes and entity references. What is mean by an element? What is mean by an element? So now we can understand about the element with this example. For example, employee number 101, EMP number, name Rama, close name, salary 9,000, close salary, employee. So now observe in this example, element means everything. That means from opening tag to closing tag is called as one element. From opening tag to closing tag including text data is called as one element. So employee opening tag to closing tag is called as one element. EMP number opening tag to closing tag is called one element. Name opening tag to closing tag is called one element. Salary opening tag to closing tag is called as one element. So in this example, total how many elements are there? Total 4 elements are there. That are, one is employee element, another one is EMP number, name, salary. So from opening tag to closing tag including text data is called as one element. One element contains child elements and one element contain attributes and one element contains text data or mix of all. Mix of all means child elements, attributes and text data. So from opening tag to closing tag including text data is called as one element, and element contains other elements, that is called child elements, and elements contain attributes, and element contain text data, or element contain mix of all. So XML document contains what? Elements. Next, XML document also contains attributes. What is the use of attribute actually? What is the use of attribute? Okay, now we can understand about the attribute. For example, here I am writing one element like this: employee, EMP number is equal to 101, name is equal to Rama, close employee. So attribute is actually used to define some extra information of a element. The attribute is used to define some extra information of a element. So an attribute is describing extra information of a element. In this example, EMP number is one attribute, name is one attribute. It is describing some information of a employee. So to describe some information of one element, we can use child elements or we can also use attributes. So where or when we are using attributes? To define some extra information of a element, we are using attributes. Okay, to define the attributes, here it is required to follow some rules and regulations. What are that is? Attribute values must be enclosed with either single quotes or double quotes. Must be enclosed with either single quotes or double quotes. So here EMP number is equal to 101. This attribute value is enclosed with double quotes. We can also write this EMP number is equal to 101 with single quotes. Here also we can also write name is equal to Rama with single quotes, but must be enclose the values either with single quotes or with double quotes. For example, if you are writing one attribute value like this, employee number is equal to 101, this is invalid declaration. So the rule is attribute values must be enclosed with either single quotes or with double quotes. Next, here the another important point is attribute names are unique for one element. Attribute names are unique for one element, means duplicate attribute names are not allowed. For example, if you are writing EMP number is equal to 101, EMP number is equal to 101, EMP number is equal to 101, EMP number is equal to 101. Here this is called as what? And duplicate attribute for this employee element. So this is invalid. So here the point is duplicate attributes are not allowed in an element. Duplicate attributes are not allowed in an element. So next, another point is attributes order is not important. Attributes order is not important in an element. So for example, if you are writing employee name is equal to Rama, EMP number is equal to 101. These both are same here because these attributes order is not important in an element. So here I am introducing one more rule. What is that one? Attribute order or attributes order is not important in an element. So these three rules must be followed at the time of defining the attributes. So now understand here, one XML document contain elements and attributes, entity references. What is the use of entity references? Okay, now we can understand about entity references. For example, here I am writing one XML. Okay, for example, I am writing one XML. Person name is Rama, age, the person age is less than 18, close age. So my example, understand here what is the need of entity reference, we can understand in this example. The person age is less than to 18. This one I wanted to write. But here the important point is, in XML some symbols are having a specific meaning. Some special characters are having a specific meaning. So that special characters if you are using in the text data, syntactically that are considering as mistakes. So now understand here, in the XML element text content, syntactically less than symbol using is illegal, because the less than symbol is having a specific meaning. It is actually indicating like it is a opening tag. So in the place of less than symbol we can use one entity reference. LT. So wherever you require to use a less than, in the place of less than symbol Just we can use one entity reference as LT. So now observe here, the person age is less than 18. Instead of writing like this, we can write the same text content like this, ampersand LT semicolon 18. Actually, at the time of using one entity reference, the syntax is we can start the entity reference name with ampersand symbol, entity reference name, and end with the semicolon. So now here this is called as what? One entity reference. Any entity reference also we can use with the same syntax, ampersand entity reference name semicolon, and this entity reference automatically now appending the symbol that is less than. This entity reference is equal to less than symbol. Now check, save this one with the name of some person.xml. Here I am going to be saving in the F drive in XML folder. So now we can view this XML file. So how to view this XML file? Now observe, emp, our XML file name is person XML file, but it is not saved properly. Here save as person.xml, person.xml. Now here this XML file we can view in the browser. Open with browser. In the place of LT, the less than symbol is coming or not, check. The person age is less than to 18. Actually in my XML I am not using less than symbol, just I am using one entity reference LT. So the LT is appended as what? Less than symbol. So now understand here, but in the place of this entity reference, suppose directly if you are using one less than symbol, it is syntactically. Now check, save, again open in the browser. It is not showing in the XML format, it is not showing as a proper XML document. So this is the problem, it is not proper XML. So syntactically less than symbol using is illegal in the XML document. In the place of less than symbol we can use one entity reference, that is ampersand LT semicolon. Okay, so in XML some special characters are having a specific meaning. So using of that special characters are syntactically illegal. In the place of that special characters we can use entity references. XML is given total 5 predefined entity references. XML is given total 5 predefined entity references. What are that 5 predefined entity references? Now observe, one is LT, another one is GT. LT is equal to less than, GT is equal to greater than. Next another one is AMP, means ampersand, and APOS means apostrophe, QUOT means quotation. So total 5 predefined entity references are already given by XML. So wherever you want to use less than, wherever you want to use a greater than, wherever you want to use ampersand, like that, in that places we can use these entity references. But here very important point is, in XML document syntactically less than symbol and ampersand symbol using is only illegal. Only less than symbol and ampersand symbol using is only illegal. Syntactically the greater than symbol, apostrophe and quotes, these are syntactically legal to use in the XML. But even though syntactically legal, it is always recommended to use entity references only in the place of those symbols. So here, and to use any entity reference, the syntax is what? To use any entity reference, here the syntax is ampersand symbol, entity reference name, and a semicolon. This is a syntax to use one entity in the XML. Okay. So next, one more important point is, it is possible to create our own entity references also as per our application requirements. When we are creating actually our own entity reference, so now understand here one case. For example, here one long length string is there. For example, one long length string is there, that is copyright at the rate of NareshIT 2016. So like suppose a long length string is there. This long length string is required to be used repeatedly in the XML. Suppose this string is required to be used 1000 times. A long length string is required to be used many number of times in the XML. So a long length string writing many number of times, okay, is increasing the burden. In that case, we can use shortcuts. The shortcut is nothing but one entity reference. So instead of writing this long length string, we can create one entity reference and use that entity reference wherever this long length string is required. For example, just assume here created one entity reference with the name of copyright. So wherever it is required to be used copyright at the rate of NareshIT 2016, in that place just we can use one entity reference, okay, copyright. So entity reference is also acting as a shortcuts for long length strings. As per the application requirement, it is possible to create our own entity references. Next we will discuss in DTD how to create our own elements, how to create our own attributes, how to create our own entity references. Okay. So here an XML document contains elements, attributes and entity references. Okay. But to define some functionality for elements, attributes, entity references, that means to define the structure of a XML document, what is required? DTD is required, or what we can use as XSD. So XML document structure we are defining inside the DTD or inside the XSD. Okay, but before going to be understanding about DTD and XSD, first we can understand about XML document is called as well formed document. But which XML document is called well formed document? What are the rules and regulations are there? So now I am introducing about XML document. XML document is called as what? Well formed document. But to say one XML document is a well formed document, what are the conditions or what are the rules are there? That is now I am going to be introducing. Okay, after completing this one, I will come to DTD and XSD. So now observe here, if any XML document is called a well formed document, okay, it must begin with what? Prologue. It must begin with a prologue. Next, must be maintained an unique root element, must be maintained an unique root element, and must be maintained closing tags for all the opening tags, must be maintained closing tags for all the closing tags. Next, all the XML elements you can write with the proper case, because the XML elements are XML elements are case sensitive. Next, to say one XML is a well-formed document, must be begin with prologue, must be maintain the unique root element, must be maintain closing tags for all the opening tags, and must be write all the elements, all the XML elements with proper cases, because the XML elements are case sensitive, and all the attributes, values you can enclose with, all the attribute values you can enclose with either single quotes or double quotes, either with the single quotes or double quotes. Next, in the place of some special characters, you can use an entity references. Okay, so if you are writing a XML document by following all these rules, then that XML document is called as well-formed document. Why actually the rules are given for XML document like this is, XML document is follows well-formed syntaxes, because to understand by any client, actually to understand by any client only, the XML document is a well-formed document. Okay, now you know already what is XML, and to write XML document, what are the rules and regulations are there. Next, which XML document is called well-formed document, and an XML contains what, this information already you know. So now we can understand how to define the structure of a XML by using DTD. How to define the structure of a XML by using DTD. So now I am going to be starting about DTD. Okay, in the next section I will discuss about the DTD.